Hello, beautiful peoples. I am Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and we are doing another little bite-sizable video on the topic of long versus short readings. And the reason I felt called to talk about this is because I live in both spots. I love doing long form readings where the sitter, the querent, the person who's asking the question, they give me their questions. I create like a little spread of sorts just based on their questions. It's not an official spread where I'm like, oh, it's going to be drawn out and this and that. It's just their questions are what guides what I'm drawing on the cards, right? When I'm shuffling them and they're jumping to each question that I'm asking is how I do a spread. But that's the extent of it. And my clients will book readings anywhere from, 30 minutes. I have a, client who always enjoys the longest reading that I offer, which is an hour and a half. So I offer long extended readings, and I just have the cards in me and the meanings ready to go, and just let's have a conversation with spirit, because that's what it is. It's not just me spouting it out. It's like being a channel for spirit. However, I also have worked the hotlines where you only get a couple of minutes to say your piece, or you only get just a sliver of time or a moments of attention for that person who has come on the hotline to work with a reader. So brevity is obviously super important in those scenarios. So for that reason, in my own business practice, in my own business, Abundant Life Tarot, I offer both short and long form readings. I do both. I love both. I have an affinity for both. Not everyone does, and I didn't always. I used to only want to do long form readings, but then I started to get burnt out on them. It was like, oh goodness, this is too much. And so I love that I have variety now, where some people just book a 10-minute reading. Some people just want a quick answer, in and out. That's it. Cool. Some people need longer. And if you're new to me, new to getting a reading for the first time, and there's a lot of stuff Spirit wants to say to you, also in addition to your questions that you have for Spirit, it's better to start at least with a 30-minute reading, at least. You don't have to. We could do wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, on a first try. If you've never had a reading before and you're like, I have one question, that's okay too. I'm just suggesting, if you're coming to tarot for more of a spiritual journey, more of helping you guide you on your life purpose journey, that kind of thing, it would probably be best, even if you're not working with me, you're working with another reader, to book a longer form reading. Now, again, there are those times when you just want a quick answer, whether you're new to getting readings or you're seasoned. You just want a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You just in and out. Yeah, there's a commercial for one of those little expensive tech schools that they have. And trust me, I know all about those. Get out, get in, get out, get ahead. That's it. You don't want to stress. You don't want to worry too much about what does the reader got to say. I just want to know, should I do this or should I not? Or what's going to happen if I do this, etc. So there's always a reason and a rhyme and a reason, I should say, for getting a short reading, really and truly. And I learned that through the hotlines, through doing hotline calls. And I learned that through offering short readings. So I'm just curious for you, like you all, do you prefer long readings or short readings? Do you prefer a combination? Like sometimes you feel like you need this 1 month. Sometimes you may not need that at all. Sometimes you need the full enchilada where you're sitting back and you're taking in what your reader has to say. I do video tarot readings. That's what I specialize in. My clients email me their questions, and then I create a spread. And depending on the length of time, sometimes they book 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It runs the gamut. Some tarot readers do not do any readings less than an hour or less than 30 minutes. They're like, nope, I don't want to do it. And I get it. I totally get it. I used to hover in that area until I did hotline. Then once I did the hotlines, it was totally different. I had to embrace the whole short readings. And let me tell you, some spiritual stuff still happens in those short readings. So don't get it twisted. There was one debate in for a little while, there was a debate going on in the Facebook tarot groups about people charging, I think this one lady charged, I don't know. Let's just say she charged, I think $200 for 15 minutes, $200 US dollars for 15 minutes. And people took issue with that. They were like, no, that's not worth it. And then some people were like, no, maybe all that you need to gain and get is in that 15 minutes. So who decides that value? So it just was an interesting debate, really. And I'm like, hey, if she ballsy enough, she feels like she got it going on, she charge whatever she wants to, whatever the market bears, whatever the people who are her clients wish to pay. They know her, and maybe that's what she's valued at. I don't know. But I thought it was interesting. And I just think it's an interesting thing because some people think that longer readings, if you're doing longer readings, maybe you're just like beating around the bush, and maybe you're not being succinct enough. And I can understand that argument. I can understand that. But some of us are meanderers, and we like to meander with the story. We are storytellers. My grandmother was a storyteller. My maternal grandmother, who my daughter is named after, may she rest in peace, was a beautiful storyteller. Everybody loved her ghost stories. And I love telling a story with the cards. But not everybody comes to a reading for that. So I'm prepared to offer different kinds of readings for folks, but not every reader wants to do that, and I get that too. I understand that. You're like, nope, I only want to do an hour, and I have Spirit has a lot to say through me, so I just let it go and let it rip, and that's how I'm going to do my reading style. You really have to just understand that each reader is an individual with individual desires, individual tugs and pulls on their intuitive powers and their ability to read the cards, on their stamina. Sometimes I find it more like laboring for me to make sure that I'm being within a 5 or 10 minute or 15 minute reading, being as succinct as possible. Then I find an hour long reading. It's like with an hour long, I'm like, okay, I've got my questions, I've got my chosen decks. We're going to have a little dialogue with Spirit, because that's what it is. It's a beautiful conversation. And I'm just here as a translator, if you will. An interpreter, actually. Not a translator. That would be written form. But, yeah. I want to hear from you guys. I didn't want to go too long on this subject because it doesn't necessarily need all that, I don't think. But hey, maybe you guys have some thoughts on this. Long or short readings, and the whole value thing too. Do you still charge what you would charge for an hour reading if you just was doing 15-minute readings? Or that's the other thing too. The other consideration that readers have to play into it. What is your time worth? And how are you measuring that time? So that's something to consider. And maybe that's for another topic. So anyways, guys, that's it. That's all. Love you all. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you all in the next video.